Hello and welcome back. Earlier we have seen how to get user input from keyboard. However, we have been using output print statement all along this course. In today's session, we will take a look at reading and writing to a file. Reading and writing to a file can be done by using an object which gets created whenever we use open function. Open function takes two arguments. The first one is the path of the file. The second one is the mode. The mode can be any of these. R for read only, A for append only, R plus means it opens for both read and write, and W means write only. So these are all the different mode, which is the second parameter of open function. Later we will see how to use with keyword whenever we deal with the file objects and why do we need it. Okay, so let us see the first example of reading something from the file, and we will also see all these different modes. Let us go to PyCharm, and here we are seeing file input and output today. File input and output. Here we will use f object, which is file object, is equal to open. So this is the function which we are using, and the first parameter takes the path of the file. For this I have created a folder called delete under D drive, and for all these file input and output we are going to make use of this particular folder, d:/delete / let us say test.txt. However, this test.txt doesn't exist yet. Okay, and the second parameter is the mode. The mode can be read, write, append, and R plus, which is for read and write. Now we are trying to open the file which doesn't exist yet. Okay, test.txt. So let me execute this and see what happens. We get an error saying that file not found error, no such file or directory. Okay, so what we will do is we will try to create a file here. Let me call it as read.txt. Okay, inside this I'm going to have two lines. Welcome to Python training. Hope you are enjoying the course. Okay, I have two lines here which says welcome to Python training and hope you are enjoying the course. Okay, so let me save this, and now if I print f object, okay, so now there is no test.txt. I have renamed it as, or I have created it as test read.txt. So let me re-execute this. Now I should be getting an object, that is file object. Okay, now it is able to access that particular file. Now this file object has got many methods available. Okay, read line, read lines. Okay, so let us read all the lines and print it. Okay, and execute this. welcome to Python training and hope you are enjoying the course. The same way, print f object dot read line, and let me execute this. If you notice the output, f object dot read lines has printed this. However, the next line f object dot read line is not printing anything. This is because the file object, whenever it gets created, it goes into the first line, first character. Okay, it starts from here, and then read lines, once it executes read lines, the cursor will be at this point. So that means it has read everything in this file. When we come to the next line, that is f object dot read line, since we have read everything from this file and the cursor is at this point, there is nothing to read. That is the reason you don't get any output here. However, if I move this, okay, then we get a different output. The first statement here, a read line, has read this, welcome to Python training. However, read lines, if you see, earlier we were getting both welcome to Python training and hope you are enjoying the course. Now it is printing only hope you are enjoying the course. Let me comment this out. We can also make use of print f object dot read, and here we can specify, for example, 10 characters I want to read. So if I execute this, this will print welcome to. So starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so it has read 10 characters starting from 0. So that is why we get only the partial text from the file. Okay. Now one thing to note here is, if the file didn't exist whenever we are in a read mode, it gives us an exception. It doesn't create that file. However, if I change this to W and rename this file to whole.txt, so that means the file which we are trying to write to, that is test read.txt, doesn't exist now. Okay, so by using this f object now, since we are writing, we can make use of write methods. F object dot write hello. So let me execute this. Okay, here we didn't get any error, because what W does is, even if the file didn't exist, it created that file and it has written this hello inside that particular file. So let us go back to our delete. Now you can see there is a file created called test read, and inside that we should see hello. Now we can read from this particular file by using another object. So now this is a writable object. Earlier f object was referring to only readable object. So now let me change this to R plus, this mode to R plus, which means you can also read as well as write. Okay. Now let us see what happens if we write it. Okay. test read.txt. Now you can see that with this it has overwritten whatever was there earlier. So earlier there was hello, now that hello was overwritten by welcome. The same thing happens whenever we use w, that is write, and the file existed. So when we saw earlier, the file didn't exist, so it created. However, if the file existed before, then by using w, it will replace all the contents of that file with whatever we are going to write. Now we can also use this to read. Object dot read lines, and let me print this. Okay, so we get welcome here. Okay, the last mode which we are going to see here is append. Okay, in case of append also, if the file didn't exist, then it will create this file and then append the text whatever we are going to write. Okay, so earlier we have welcome, now to Python course. Okay, and let me execute this. Okay, now since I changed this to append, so this object, file object, is only a writable object, so we cannot read from here. Okay, so to read we have to create another object. Let me comment this out and let me execute this. Now if I go back to the file, I should get welcome to Python course. So this is what I was expecting. Let us do a recap here. With R, read only object, if file didn't exist, it will throw error. Okay, with W, it's a write only object, if file didn't exist, then it will create the file and writes. With R plus, both read and write object, if the file didn't exist, it will create and read and write. In case of A, appends the text to existing content. Of the file. If file didn't exist, it creates the file. One thing to note here is, since we are creating file object ourselves, we have to close this file object. So this is important. Okay, f object dot close, so that the resource gets released, which is held by this file object. Now let us look at with keyword and what is the use of with keyword. Now whenever we use open function and we create this file object, we must remember to close it by using f_object.close, that is the file object dot close method. Okay, sometimes we might forget to close the file object. If we don't close the file object, then the resource will not be released. However, if you want to get rid of the headache of releasing these resources, what we can do is we can use with keyword. With open, so I will take the same example here. With open as f object now what we want to do is we want to append this to the existing file. So earlier we had written welcome to Python course. Now I'm going to write Ashian, thanks for choosing the course. Okay, so let me comment this out. Then let me go back to this and execute this. Okay, if I go back to this file, then on the next line we get thanks for choosing the course. Okay, however, the advantage by using with keyword is, so whenever this code gets executed or this block gets executed, once it comes out of this block, then this file object gets closed automatically. By using with keyword, that headache of closing and releasing the resources held by f object is gone. Hope that is clear. If not, please post a comment